Okay. Please join us with the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Since we don't have a scribe, can I end up asking somebody can take minutes? Any volunteers?
Give it a shot. Not my
Thank you,
fault.
Julie.
Not me.
Thank you for volunteering.
I didn't volunteer.
You got
Did
volunteered.
that right.
Can we shut that door so that,
I did
not
not
picking up.
volunteer.
I wonder if cricket's coming.
What is this? 11, 16, 17.
approval of minutes of November 1st.
Find it. Good shape for the shape I'm in.
Entertain a motion
That's
on
the one I
the
wasn't
minutes?
at, right, Will?
Pardon me?
That's the one I missed?
Right.
Yep.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from November 1st, 2017.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none? Bev?
Abstain?
Julie?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. Have two mails. One from Massachusetts, well, both of them from Massachusetts Administration. Did everybody get the site to go to the, get the new handbook, the download?
Actually, I gave that to mine to Julie, and
Okay,
so I don't. No.
I think mine's in,
okay.
buried somewhere.
So everybody here is,
I got it.
this is just a reminder.
Okay.
They can do that. The second one is for the 2018 annual meeting and trade show for Mass Municipal Association in Boston. I'm not gonna go reading through the whole thing per se. If anybody's interested, I have the paperwork here.
When is it?
I'm trying to take minutes. What was the last article, last item of business? What was that?
The last
under?
article of business is a reminder as to the download for the Association of
Download
Town
new
Planners.
handbook? Okay.
Handbook, yeah. Yep.
I think me, John Kaplis, and Julie Richards, Holly, and Carter were all going, so if you guys wanted to go, just let us know, we can all
Yeah.
get hotels together and whatnot.
So we have the form here. If somebody's interested in going. I don't know. I think only one or two members have gone in the past. And I don't know in the last couple of years, because we don't have that in our budget, and that would get us out of the thing. So I don't know if anybody wants to go. Members, $180.
When's the drop dead date?
Deadline is January 10th, 2018. So we have a couple times more we can end up discussing this, if need be,
So January
for those members, yeah.
15th?
The meeting is the 19th and 20th. The deadline for registration is January 10th.
Right. Would that require, Cameron, would that require a vote by the Board of Selectmen to expend that money? If there were a member that
Yeah,
wanted
there
to
No,
should
go?
be.
it's in our budget.
It's in your budget?
Yeah, like training certs or vendor trade shows, I think.
Okay.
Okay? That takes care of that.
And what is the date of that meeting?
The 19th and 20th of January.
19th and 20th.
Yep.
of January.
I was anticipating a bill from the Garden News, which we didn't receive.
I don't even know how they run.
Uh,
Get here soon.
Although I checked the mailbox now, unless it went to the selectman's office and they didn't put it in the mailbox, we haven't got I can't end up even doing this at this particular time, so.
Yeah, wait on it
Is there
then.
anybody else putting in expenses for,
Are we still into mail, or what are we doing? Bills?
pardon me?
Are we doing bills or
Yeah,
approving
we're doing bills.
expenses? Okay. Approve expenses.
I didn't get my,
Did
statement yet.
you ask her?
Yeah, and I didn't get nothing, so
Okay.
I ain't gonna worry about it.
Pending,
Not gonna be any richer or poorer.
bill, attending. So are we gonna submit that bill or wait?
No, I don't have an invoice number, so I
Okay.
can't submit it, and I don't have the bill. So
Okay, no
we're
bill.
gonna have to take and table that until we get the bill. I was anticipating, this is for Pre-Town.
No, that's for the Garden and News, but
Yeah.
the AFTC,
I don't have any others.
you don't have, you just have yours?
Right, mine was already put in.
Okay,
I don't have anybody else's. I had asked if everybody's, and I gave them a copy of it again, so,
okay, so we tabling that?
yep, we can table that.
Tabled.
Budget to actual FY 18, first quarter. I think I forwarded that to everybody. If there's any questions on that.
Keep looking here.
It's the one dated,
11/1?
oh, I don't have that one. I got 9/20. I got the quarter.
Oh, you have the quarterly one?
Yeah, FY 18, first quarter.
No, she sent one out the other day.
Yeah.
She sent another one out the other day?
Yeah, you attached it to the,
I probably did.
okay. How about if we table that?
I didn't
So we
see
get-
anything
'cause-
striking.
Yeah, I would suggest we table that.
Let's see, is it somewhere else in my pile here?
I have one, it's dated November 1st,
I
2017.
don't have that. I just,
7/1 to 10/31.
That's the one I got.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Because this was October's.
yeah.
Is there any word on training?
I
With
have
Ada?
not even addressed that.
Okay.
You've been sick this week.
I'll be talking about some of this after this.
I'll make a motion that we table the BBA
Okay,
until the next meeting.
yeah,
I'll second that.
Our next meeting is the 28th, correct?
that's December. The next meeting, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes, the next meeting is in December,
Okay, well, that was 28th.
unless we schedule one before that.
Sorry, no, capital planning, I'm screwing up.
Oh, okay,
All right, I have it, our next meeting is December 6th?
yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Julie.
Yep. So, we have a motion that was seconded?
Yep.
To
Got a
table.
motion and second for the table? The budget to actual? Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none. Bev?
Yeah.
Julie?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes.
Okay.
The next item on the agenda is Origin of Municipal Finance Committee for future reference. It was updated for us to take and end up having that for the future is to this. That's just a reference. I don't think I need a motion to take and end up, unless we want to take and end up making a motion to table to some future date.
What are we doing with this? Are we adding it to our policies, or what
No,
are we
no,
doing?
this is to take and keep for, if we have, it tells about the committee and their responsibilities. And as to, that way the town watchdog, et cetera.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
actually, that
And it
kind of
was-
stuff is in that advisory handbook that we're gonna look at.
Right, and it was in the handbook also.
All right. So.
This is just for future reference, if we end up running across an issue where there's a question about the advisory committee's role.
Okay.
I'll take a motion to table this till next meeting.
I'll second that.
Well, are you doing the motion?
You doing a motion?
Oh, I thought you made the motion to table it till the next meeting.
Well, you can concur with me.
I will concur with you.
Okay, we have
Second.
a second. Okay. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none. Bev,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. This is one that we tabled the last time. Since we don't have enough members here, we might do the same thing as the one-time revenues.
Okay. Yeah, I think we should wait until we have a whole
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody here.
committee.
Yeah, with this many. Do I have a motion to table?
I'll make a motion that we table this article until we have a full board.
Second?
A motion to table, and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none. Bev,
Yep.
Julie,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. This is gonna go quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're zipping right through this.
In the packet that I handed you were some additional documents. Status of budget guidelines, this is the revenue that was presented at the workshop. There was 3 documents. I believe that they should be all in your packet. One is the revenues. The next one was the individual department, and it said, talked about deficits. And the last one was, they had responded to the presentation on roles and and roles and, response, recommendations.
Okay, does this come under
This will come under.
budget guidelines for FY eighteen?
Right, it should read 19 on the,
Okay,
uh,
on the agenda?
yeah, on the
Okay.
agenda. So I don't know, I could not end up getting that out of their packet. They did hand them out that night, and I said I would make copies, and I did.
That's all right.
They're expecting a response by the 21st.
Of November?
Yes, which is next Monday.
Right.
What did they, they were supposed to send us something today that wasn't attached.
There was nothing there
Oh.
in that message.
Yeah,
As you saw.
Yeah, I know.
If you're questioning the email that we received today.
Yep.
Said revenue and meetings,
yeah.
I have no idea. There was no attachments, no nothing.
Yep.
I responded back and said, was there attachments or whatever, so that has, it might be the same revenue document, but he had nothing in the body other than what you saw.
Hey, Will, this is an extra one, honey, maybe that belongs with, one of your other packets.
Yeah, there's two here that were extra too.
I've got,
Versions.
So the revenue one,
is this from their working meeting?
yeah, this is from their working meeting.
Okay, and what, that was November what? From working meeting.
Wasn't it
I don't know, let me get my
Second.
calendar up.
I
last
don't
Monday, a
recall
week
what the
ago Monday?
second maybe?
Pre-town.
There was only 3 of us present.
Yeah, I couldn't make that one. So was that the 13th?
That's what?
No, they didn't meet
The
on the
week before that,
13th.
I think.
The 6th.
The
Yep,
6th,
The
yes.
6th. Okay, so that was November 6th working meeting.
Yep.
I will make a motion that we table this for discussion till we have a full committee, and that we contact the Board of Selectmen saying that our response or our input will be after
Well, they
November,
expect,
December 6th.
the
I know, but,
the TA expects an answer by the 21st.
Well,
right,
You know what?
you know, that's not our timeline, but,
I
the
don't
way
think
it
we have
goes.
enough people here to discuss that.
no. And I would definitely want Bob's
Yeah,
input
and
on
Jeffrey,
Yeah.
the revenue, since he's done,
Yeah, he's got the charts and all that
yeah.
stuff.
Okay,
Have a motion to table this
Second.
in a second.
all right, I'll make the motion to table. And Bob will second. I would like to, add to the motion, not just to table it, but also to contact the selectmen, and that we will discuss it at our December
Can
sixth
I-
meeting.
Can I have somebody do that?
Okay.
I know that puts a burden on folks, but
Meeting.
as you see, I put a lot of stuff that wasn't
Yep.
in the packet versus whatever.
I know.
oh, you know what?
All right, so I'll amend it, and I will contact the selectmen,
Okay,
saying that we will, after our December sixth meeting, we will have input into the revenue projections.
okay. And that was gonna end up leading into the,
All right, let's do the vote on that first.
begin the discussion on the budget guidelines.
Right.
For 19 also. Since we're tabling that, I don't think we can end up even beginning any discussion. I don't think we need to even table that
Okay,
until we end up, since the other one was
Right.
tabled, per se.
yeah, because we need to know what the
Yep.
revenue estimates are,
Yep.
before we can do budget.
And the fourth, interesting document that goes along with that, and I don't know if everybody got it, was the fourth quarter it was sent out sometime back, the fourth quarter, finances from the,
Yeah, I think I got that at home. I could get buried in
because there
paperwork.
was, the interesting thing that I saw on it was the first sheet, there was a lot of red, it basically showed that there was, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 on the combined sheet that showed deficiencies.
Which fiscal year are we talking about?
This was fourth quarter.
So this was last year's,
I'm thinking that's what it is,
FY
Yep.
17, okay.
but there was information on there going forward that you could end up using to end up helping make the budget decision.
Okay. And
Or
that was,
looking at the revenues.
and the date that document was distributed is August 14th?
August 14th.
Yeah, I have that at home. Okay. So would you suggest that we use that document when we come
Yeah,
back
right,
for
you-
revenue
it's
projection?
It's just a reference that they can end up seeing how 18 goes, and there was some items on it that they could show how much was spent, and I think it showed some revenue numbers on there, so it would be a good basis that they can end up bouncing the revenue numbers.
So we'll use that
We'd have more than
document.
one document
Right.
to look at and try to make a decision.
All right. All right, so there's a motion on the floor right now to table the,
No, you don't, I don't think you need one to take and end up tabling that one unless you want to, because we tabled the status of the,
right, I'm talking about the status of the budget guidelines for FY19.
Yeah.
That was,
Yeah,
what
we
we're
can,
talking
I will
about
make a
now.
motion. I'll make a motion.
one
that
we-
We already have a
That's
All right,
motion.
I'll
on-
second
that's the
that.
one we end up tabling, and you're gonna email the TA,
Right,
okay?
but we didn't vote on it,
Oh, we didn't?
no,
Oh, okay. My mistake again.
it's okay.
That's all right.
Any discussion on that?
Nope.
Thank you for bringing that up.
No problem, I'm just I'm trying to do notes and keep track of this stuff. It's not easy.
Any discussion on that? Since Paul is not here. Okay, seeing none. Bev?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes,
Bob?
Yes.
I'll vote yes also.
okay. Discussion.
The next one, I don't think we need a motion, because that was gonna be to discuss the guidelines. Okay, the next thing in the packet that I sent was a document that I've had for quite a while, and it was, I put that out, it's a practical handbook of operating procedures from an advisory committee to use as a possible boilerplate if we wanna end up doing that. And I put that out because it would take some possible massaging of that document for us to use in the future. And I put it out just for general discussion to take and see what people wanted to do, if that's something that we wanted to do.
I thought it was very good because it explains exactly what we're supposed to do legally,
Yep.
and it will eliminate a lot of chatter that is a waste of time.
Right, it summarizes a lot of stuff that's in the handbook.
It gives you your conflict of interest laws, except they've changed a little bit, I think. Maybe what year was this, Will?
I've had that for a
13,
couple of
14.
years, but I'm
Yeah, we'll
just,
have to maybe make sure it's updated. But I thought it was very good, and
it's this one here.
I know, I have it online.
Oh, okay.
So this is the one from Wellesley, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't know if it's maybe too big. Basically, I thought it was good because I don't think most people understand what our role is.
Just want to take and end up having people's thoughts whether we should end up even pursuing this in the future.
Well, I was gonna say, Mr. Chairman, I went through the article, I went through the item at home on the computer.
Yep.
And the one question that, or concern that came up for me is whenever we do, you know, or we're thinking of doing anything like this, is to go, the town seems to have multiple policies. And there's a lot of apparent conflict between them. And I'm just concerned with creating anything that, you know, we go back, if we're gonna present something or create a handbook of some sort, that we make sure that it doesn't contradict present
Well,
policies.
this is our operating procedures.
Right, but I mean, if we're doing this, I guess what I'm saying is our operating procedures, when were they last defined and how do they comply with all the other changes that have happened?
Well, you have a reference of the Association Town Finance Handbook, which is the Bible for all finance, advisory, and warrant committees in the state. I mean, and you have Mass General Law 39, which establish us as the advisory. And you also have, within the town, you have the town bylaw, which also states our responsibilities. So a lot of that is already encompassed in this, if you look at this document per se. It doesn't conflict with anybody else, if that's what you're.
Okay, that's my concern.
Right, I think we really need to go through this. I'm just looking on, I don't know what page it is, but it says town meeting matters. And this is for Wellesley. The advisory also reviews, analyzes, and makes recommendations with respect to all other matters that are brought before town meeting. Those matters may include but are not limited to the following: acceptance by the town of new laws or the town seeking of special legislation.
Yes, yeah.
We don't do that.
No.
Amendments, additions, or deletions of the town's bylaws and the town's zoning bylaws. We don't do that.
Well, we make recommendations.
We make recommendations, but this
Right.
says advisory also
we'd have to
reviews,
we'd have-
analyzes, and,
We'd have to,
Let me just put
And
it
it
this way
goes-
here. I said it's a boilerplate.
right,
I didn't say that we should follow it letter for letter. As you heard at the Association of Town Finances, it says plagiarize, 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 but
Right.
make it pertinent to your community.
right.
And that's what we really need to do. And I'm saying that this is the boilerplate that we should use, and for those sections that we have nothing to do with, we can end up eliminating those.
Okay, so, are we doing this tonight, or are we doing this?
No, we can't do
I
it
put this
tonight.
out with the folks, we should end up doing this as a future endeavor here, over the next couple of months or whatever.
Okay,
I think that, I'd make a motion that we take this into consideration and bring it up when we have our whole board, and we can make a decision on
So
whether we
you're saying to table? to take
table
and
it
present
until we
before-
have a full
okay.
board. Yeah,
We have a motion to take and end up tabling until we get
yeah.
the full board. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to take and table the practical handbook of operating procedures for review by the full board, to take and end up seeing if we're gonna progress that way.
Yep.
All right, so the Wellesley Advisory Committee's practical handbook.
Right.
Okay.
Basically.
A
I
motion
think-
and second, any discussion? Seeing and hearing none. Bob?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. I think that the next item on there also, since we don't have a full board, is, as I stated to the selectmen when we presented the stabilization one, you're better off getting the buy-in of both the advisory as well as the Board of Selectmen on a financial policy. And we already had a standing one. And the Board of Selectmen had an existing one that was set as goals, and they have not rescinded that. So, I mean, as you said, Bob, there's conflict as to, we should end up having some level of an agreement with that. And I looked at other towns, a number of other towns, and it's signed, the number of towns that I looked at, it's signed by the chairman of the select board as well as the chairman of the advisory committee or finance committee.
All right, are we talking about the financial management policies for the town of Templeton? All right, that's from the Board of Selectmen, not from us. We
Well,
didn't have any input in that.
we didn't have any input at all.
Right, so. So what do we
I don't think
hope
we
to
can
do?
talk about that either until everybody's here. I think it's more than,
Is that a motion? They can
I would
end up-
I'd make a motion to put it on
Table
to
it?
our, table it until our next meeting, if everyone's here. Because
A motion to table? Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Yeah.
Motion,
wake
And
up down
second?
there.
No, I was just,
I know. I know.
any discussion?
I'd like to, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd just like to mention, I think, when I looked at this, the one thing that came to my mind right off, and I think is something that where we need a good place to start. You know, we have the BOS financial management policy versus AC financial management policy.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I think both of them should be gone, and it should be the Templeton financial management policy. You know what I mean?
Well, they say it's, the Board of Selectmen has this as Templeton's.
Right, well, but what I'm saying is, you know, that we still, or, you know, from what I'm hearing, wasn't here, the advisory committee has a financial management policy and had a financial management policy.
Which was presented to the select board in 2000 and either 13 or 14.
Okay.
And at that time, that select board chose, they took it under advisement. They came back and they made it as goals, a lot of the things that they had in the policy and goals. It was on the website for a long time and up until about a year and a half ago, and it was taken down and it was never voted off by the selectmen.
Okay, so,
But they went off and made another one.
yeah, yeah.
See, if
I mean,
one board doesn't know what the other board did,
Well, I was gonna say,
you
that's,
just get buried in paperwork that nobody follows anyway. So it's about time we ran the town like a business. Can't keep doing this
that's kind of getting to
stuff.
my point, that this seems to be an item that, you know, with the financial management policies, that it should be a Board of Selectmen Advisory Committee, you know, workshop item.
Yep.
Rather than, you know, one or the other, or both going off in tangents, or, you know,
Well, I
us
had-
saying we have, you know, ours.
Right.
And why are they creating theirs, and, you know,
Like a playground.
well, that's just it. We have, you know, it seems like the communication needs to be better, because otherwise, you know,
Well, I-
somebody's spinning their wheels for nothing.
I don't disagree, but I brought that up during the presentation for stabilization and said that policies need to end up being, going over by both, and when you have agreement by both, you have a lot better on compliance. And I looked at other communities, and that's how they signed it off. Both the BOS and the advisory or finance has signed off in other communities when they had a financial policy. That's not happening. It wasn't, they went off and did one. We had talked to them many times about that we had one. We weren't included in the discussion per se.
Anyway.
So we have a motion to table till full board and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing and hearing none. Bev,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. On the unfinished and open issues, is it, anybody want to bring something up? I'm gonna just bring one up, that we have now got two email accounts. One that the TA has basically said that he will only support and corresponding to us. On July 22nd, notification went out to all the boards and committees for the community that change was going to take place effective the 24th with a new email address, and that was included. And we're still getting emails from town departments on that one. The only people that we're receiving emails for is our board, per se, and the select board's administrative assistant and the TA. That's it. All the rest are being sent to our own email address. It's either gonna be one or the other. I'm tired of trying to manage two of them. And in addition to that, we had over 2,100 emails, and it's down a little less than, but a little over 1,600, which I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff that really we didn't want to take an archive. It's meeting notices, et cetera, and just moving on. So that needs to be addressed somehow as to what's going on. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, did you set up a forwarding service on your previous
Yes,
email?
I did.
And did you set up a response notification on that email as well to say that we are under this email address as a response? So if they send something to that email, it will reply automatically
No.
saying we're in? Okay.
No, but they did get it on the 24th, and when we have communicated with any of the departments that have sent us information, we end up sending it from the new email address. So it seems that they're not following their own protocol as updating their mailing lists.
But you didn't establish a response email so that it says to them that you would say like, we are switched to this email so that it would be a constant reminder?
There's no need to. When you put something out and you tell people and you send email out of that system, people need to take and end up doing their job.
I understand that, Mr. Chairman. I do not doubt that people in a theoretical world where we live, where everybody
It's
can be
not
told
up to
once.
us to take and manage the departments. That's managing the departments. That's the TA's job. It's not ours.
But it's like a personal email though, right? It's off the server, it's not under our domain to make those changes?
That's correct.
So,
It was one that was used by the advisory.
Most
And I
IT
see
systems
a
establish
whole bunch of other departments that haven't gone over to the new domain, and they're still using Gmail also. So I mean,
have you raised that issue with the town administrator?
no, I have not. I
Not
did
our
mention,
job.
I did mention that when
Well,
he
if there's an
originally,
issue, it'd be
when he
nice to
originally
know
asked,
about it.
when he originally asked us to do this, we pointed that out, and he says, this is it. I'm only gonna take and send to this, we complied. I mean, we complied with his wishes.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I may respectfully.
Yep,
You're saying there's an issue.
yep,
You told them once.
yep. I told him a couple of times
If I
under
may.
this discussion.
Let me just follow through with this. So you told them once.
Yep,
and when you establish it, your concerns, but you didn't know, so there's been an ongoing problem that you haven't related back to the town administrator, who is in charge of that domain, right? And you haven't established anything on your end, so you kinda just have this problem and you haven't done anything about it?
We ended up sending out communications as to
Once.
where.
Once, right? And that was
Right,
it.
and
There's an ongoing issue.
anytime we get a response from those departments, or we send out something from us, it has our new email. We're not sending anything out of the old email, so they can see what our email address is. This is not hand-holding that I'm going to end up doing. It's
You get
not our
buried with
it's
stuff.
not our responsibility that they can manage that.
Well, you know,
And
weren't they
in
all
fact,
told?
when
Well,
some of those responses go out, the administrator is on copy for those documents.
Does he still respond to the old email? Do you know?
No, he's responding to the new email.
So would he be aware of people responding to the old email?
He's on copy for some of those emails that we're receiving.
so,
I mean, I'm not gonna go manage him too. That's not our job.
I'm not asking you to, it's your old email, that's all the concern is that there's an issue
not
that needs to
ours,
get
it's
resolved.
ours and everybody's before us.
So, I'm trying to help you resolve it, but I wanna make sure that I'm not going redundantly if I go,
I don't think so.
so.
Go.
Well, that's what I was, Mr. Chairman, that's what I was just wondering, is if we should make a motion to the town administrator to notify him that this is a problem that we're having, and that, you know, in some form or fashion, it needs to be fixed on, you know, that end by the departments, responding to the correct emails, or having a list of the correct emails in town sent out, or whatever the case may be. But, you know, you know,
Don't help if it doesn't stop.
no, but it also, I do agree with the point that it's hard to fix if you don't know about it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I'll be,
Is that a motion?
yeah, I'll make a motion to, notify the town administrator of ongoing problems with the advisory committee's email and responses.
We don't have a secretary, so Will does tons and tons of making copies and doing paperwork, and Jeffrey helps out, and I'm computer illiterate.
And I'll write that if you want, Julie, or
Just put that in the
Mr.
motion.
Chairman.
Is that part of the motion?
That I will write it?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. I have a motion, they can notify the
I'll
TA,
second it,
and Mr. May will end up notifying him
yeah.
that this is an issue. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
No,
Seeing and hearing none. Bev,
yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes.
You can get buried alive with all the paperwork that comes. It's crazy.
Anything on the new business?
Not that I can think of.
Anybody? I do have one.
Uh-oh.
Since nobody has gotten any under new business. As you know, this has not been a good year for me, health-wise.
I know.
I still have ongoing health issues. In some cases, I'm unable to handle the chair functions in a timely manner, even when I've received some help. With the FY19 budget upcoming, the need to address these timely, I think it's in the best interest of the committee that your chairman's duties be handled in a timely manner. So effective, at the end of this meeting, I'm stepping down as chairman. I can no longer end up doing what I consider an effective job. I recommend that the committee, ending up electing a new chairman as soon as possible. I'll be there to make the transition as easy as I can with that individual. And I'll be turning in the keys for coming to the meetings next week when the selectman's office is open. But it's nothing to get upset about.
I know.
We can, somebody else needs to take it up, getting as chairman.
You've done a really, really good job. You've put up with a lot of abuse. That wasn't necessary. But you've worked for the good of the people in this town. We wouldn't be sitting right here now if it wasn't for you. And Jeffrey up on the roof, making sure that the place didn't leak. You've worked for a lot of years. You've done the Conservation Commission. You know, a lot of people your age have said, screw it, let somebody else do it. And you
Yep.
never did that. You did your share and more. And I
Well.
appreciate you, I'll tell you, but I understand you've had a really, really rough year. And I appreciate the fact that you've put up with me, which isn't easy to do all the time. But we've worked together well.
Yep. I look at it this way, is that when I stepped up years ago for this community on a number of things, it was they can end up helping the community that I lived in. I think that people need to end up stepping up and volunteering to help their community. Unfortunately, there's too much apathy in this community, and even struggling through that has been difficult for all this committee as well as other committees trying to end up getting enough folks that they can end up volunteering to end up doing the job for their community.
We have had the best advisory board that there's been in this town for a long time. It isn't an easy job because your job is to be objective. And that means you don't go along to get along. And that may be not what other people want, but that's for the best of the town.
Well,
So you're right. I wish people would step up because somebody's gonna do it.
Well,
And I'd like to see some younger people step up.
Yeah. I had a great mentor when he was here, is Jeff Ritter. He was somebody you could sit down with, discuss, point me to different stuff,
Yep.
and I was able to end up gathering a lot of information as to how this committee should actually operate. We're not always allowed to operate in the means that we're supposed to because of differences of opinions, but it's always been my intent they can end up working for this community.
You have. You have nothing to be ashamed of. You know,
And-
we have got dragged through the hole sideways and never been able to stand up for ourselves, and that was wrong.
Yep.
But you go home and you take care of yourself.
Well, there's comes a time when I just cannot end up doing this because of my health issues.
Yep.
And
I
it's
don't blame you.
unfortunate. I ended up trying to helping the community out per se. I understood what the role of a chairman is, because I had been in management. You're the face of the committee. You're supposed to be the face of the committee. You take a lot of criticism, and that's just part of when you volunteer, that you end up putting yourself in that position.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I might just ask, you do plan on staying with the committee.
Yes, I have not resigned off the committee,
Okay.
yes.
So I want to say thank you for being the chairman.
Yeah.
Thank you for your help. I'm very glad that you're stepping down for your health.
Yes,
Because
that's
that
correct.
is more important on an individual basis, and you being here on an ongoing basis to assist us in the transition and moving forward is a benefit to all of us
Yep.
and the town. So, thank you, is all I want to say.
Good job.
Well, as you saw, there was a number of things I missed, per se.
Oh, wow,
In
we're
the
gonna beat
packet.
you up. I mean, you do.
It's-
we
That's
know.
all because
I'm just trying
it
to
took
take
me
minutes.
over a week, it took me over a week to gather all this stuff.
missing?
It took me about a week to gather everything for the agenda. I was hoping to end up having some things taken care of and moving forward, but not having a full board is not how you really wanna operate.
Well, you know, we tackled some stuff that is controversial. You know, we've taken a stand when we thought that it was best for all the people in this town. And the future is gonna be very hard. We don't have enough revenue to run this town. I don't care how you slice it. So we either make some changes and run this place like a business, or we are gonna be in for a world of hurt.
Well, it's unfortunate that there are some folks that don't understand, and I'm talking about in management, that don't understand, they fully don't understand the responsibilities of what the advisory committee is supposed to be doing, and what we can and cannot do. For the most part, I believe we have always followed the Association of Town Finances Handbook, town bylaws, and Massachusetts general law. And those are the primary things that I saw as a responsibility to take and end up trying to bring that forward. So, it's nice, but I'm still here. I haven't resigned. I'm just stepping down as chair because I just can't continue to take and end up doing
It's
as an
too
effective
hard.
job as I would like.
It's too hard.
Believe me, it's a difficult decision when you're trying to help your community, but you end up, there's things that are necessarily more important in life also.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You had a hard enough day today, never mind having to
So,
drag yourself over
Oh,
here.
very good, very good,
so
sir.
I'll
Like to
entertain a
thank-
motion
No, I
to,
want to thank you for
Yeah.
your service to the community,
well,
all right?
that's,
It's been a long time,
yes, it has.
and I appreciate everything you've done.
Well, let me say this, I went way back into the 70s.
Yep, Battle of the Bales, when I first met you.
Yeah.
That was the beginning.
Well, not only that, there's been some things that unfortunately the community hasn't reaped as much, even way back then, as it should.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of discussion, even when I wasn't on advisory, just as a citizen with the selectmen at that time, they always wanted to take and end up using the monies that they got from the electric light to reduce the taxes. I always told them that was the wrong thing to do.
Yep.
We're paying the penalty for that now. Believe me when I say that,
We
because,
use lottery money.
That's
Remember that, when we use lottery money
Yep.
to lower the tax rate?
Yep.
We
So-
never followed a budget, ever. Not
So-
for,
over the years, being on the East Templeton Dam Committee, and I don't mean that, it wasn't a dam committee.
it was a damn committee in the end, because there's no dam.
To restore the dam in East Templeton, and we had a good representative in Mr. Wetmore,
Yep.
who passed away in this last year. It was a pleasure to know him. Unfortunately, it wasn't due to the fact that the committee didn't end up doing all the things. We were very, very close, had engineering done and everything else, and the selectmen dragged their feet a little too long, and the legislation, at that time, you know how that is, the monies got yanked for something else, unfortunately.
now-
And Benny Wetmore worked really hard for this community.
So So there you had beachfront property one day and you had a swamp the next.
Still in
It
the
was,
swamp.
it would have been a nice area.
Yep.
There was even talk of having a recreation area up there for the town.
Yep.
Which, as a town, we do not have a swimming recreation. We have to use the Templeton Fish and Game Club, as everybody's aware of. Unfortunately, but that's it. With that, I'm gonna look for
Okay.
a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed? So be it.